I give this.
Greetings, everybody, and welcome to Great People TV with me, Ben Ibrahim, and my lovely co-host and my new partner in crime, Hana Ismail. Hana is not really a new partner in crime. She's usually my partner for all the events that I do when I need a Malay-speaking host who is the expert at Pantons. Hana, how are you? And thank you for being my partner, not just for tonight, but for Great People
Thank
TV.
you. No, thank you for having me as well. Kepada anda semua, selamat datang. Assalamualaikum. You guys are watching Great People TV. Tapi Ben, sebelum kita mulakan apa-apa, seperti biasa saya nak anda follow, like dan juga share Facebook kami Great People TV dan kongsikan dan habak mic kat semua orang that we are doing this. We have Masya Allah, very interesting guests coming, and yeah, I can't wait to tell you guys who are the guests for the next upcoming episodes.
That's right. Well, we take it one episode at a time now. But just to translate what I was saying to all our English-speaking viewers out there, thank you for being with us from wherever you are around the world. We had some great comments being dropped today on Instagram, on Facebook, even on Twitter, and dropping some questions that we'd like to ask our guests tonight. So yeah, to all our English-speaking viewers, please press like, share, follow not just on Facebook, but on our YouTube page as well, because Great People TV, the content will be on Facebook and YouTube. And if you want to follow Hana and myself, just press follow on Instagram. I am Ben Ibrahim _ and Hana, your Instagram is?
Yes, follow me on Hana Al-Mauzah, at Hana Al-Mauzah, Hana Ismail on Instagram. Okay, Ben, before that, Ben, I nak ucapkan terima kasih juga kepada fellow viewers yang datang menyaksikan Great People TV pada malam ini dan juga kita fellow reporters coming. Some of them I heard from The Vibes, from Harian Metro. You know, tak sabar nak tanyakan soalan kepada John Beasley pada malam ni, Ben.
That's right. And you already have a fan. Now you have Shakira Ibrahim, no relation to me. Okay, so she's saying, hi, Hana. Okay, hi to Shakira. I'm here too.
Hi, Shahira. This is not your sister, right?
No, I don't. But I have a brother here tonight, even though he looks much more different, and he's probably a bit more looking than I am. We have the one and only Mr. John Beasley, head coach for the Malaysian Pocket team. John, how are you? Apa khabar?
Yeah, good, thanks, Ben. Hannah, how are you?
Good, Alhamdulillah. How are you, John? Have you eaten?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. So, yeah, just happy to be here, having a relaxed sort of talk session with you guys. So, yeah, very much looking forward to the next half hour or so.
That's right. Well, John, let's get stuck into this topic because the topic that we put on our poster on social media is building Malaysian Pocket Rockets. Now, before we talk about the Pocket Rocket man and also his partner in crime, Shakir Nurse, and the other teammates as well, we're going to ask about the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, the silver medal that Azizul won. Congratulations, by the way. But after the race, when he came second, Jojo, as he's more famously known, we call him Joe. He was, pretty elated. It was all over. Won. You were very emotional after the race, and you gave a very emotional short speech to Astro Arena, and you look satisfied, somewhat you look dissatisfied. So the question is, tell us about the feelings you experienced then, and tell us about the post feelings that you're feeling now.
Yeah, it's a good question. It was a very difficult time. Like it was a really emotional time for me. To go through an Olympic campaign and to have your athlete in the best form of his life and race so well through the whole Kieran series, and then be denied a fair and equal opportunity to win that bike race, and that's what I was really upset about. Like, I think for me, I could have coped really easy if we had been beaten on our merits, but it just didn't unfold that way, and I was just filthy on the sport adjudicators that they didn't make the right decision and call. I feel, and we discussed it in the managers' meeting prior, what would happen if somebody left a big gap, and They clearly stated that no one would be leaving a big gap. If that was the case, they would stop the race. They would give that rider a warning, restart it, and if it happened again, stop the race and disqualify that athlete. So for me, we drew a back position, which is always tough, but we prepared well in case we did draw position 5 or 6, and I think we clearly had the best bike rider on the day in that field, and unfortunately, the second rider let the first rider go before the race had even started. Because the race doesn't officially start until the pacer pulls off the track, and to be given a start of like a good 25 meters before the race even really starts, and then it just got worse from there. So a lot of people say, well, why didn't you fill the gap? For us to make a move from position 5 at that stage of the bike race, it would have ruined any plans of winning an Olympic gold medal. So we were stuck, and that's what was so emotional. I was stuck in that sort of void of we won the silver medal, and that's a phenomenal achievement. But we unfortunately the gold got away, and we took the responsibility on our shoulders, for the nation to strive to win that first Olympic gold medal, and unfortunately, it just didn't happen on the day, and all those emotions, they're still sort of there now. So they're still, I'm feeling a lot more comfortable now, but it's still tough, and it's 2.5 weeks after. So you can imagine what I was like just after the event, and going through. Shah Firdaus was in phenomenal form, and he didn't get to show everyone what he was capable of, and there was a decision there that I didn't think was a fair decision as well. But we some go your way, some don't, and that's bike racing, and those incidents happen. So I can live with that. But with the final, that was it still eats at me. It's a gold medal that Malaysia should have in their pocket, and unfortunately we don't. So we can't change that. So our philosophy as a group is just to move forward and onward, and we've got Paris in 3 years' time. So that's the whole focus of the team, and we haven't had time to debrief yet, and we need to debrief in order to to start to formulate the plan and move forward. So but we'll do that over the coming weeks. Once we take all the emotion out of it, then we can have a good honest debrief and move forward from there.
Sebenarnya kan dari penerangan John ni kita dapat faham bahawa sampailah lah ni John mungkin sukar lagi untuk move on, sebab kalau kita lihat kan, kalau permainan itu dilakukan secara lebih adil, mungkin kita boleh menerima hakikat bahawa result adalah sebegitu, tapi oleh kerana hakikatnya bukan, dan kalau berdasarkan merit dia okey lagi kan, tapi memandangkan kita lihat performance Pocket Rocketman pada hari itu dapat tempat kedua, satu pencapaian yang memang agak cukup fenomena dah pun. Alright, John, let's ask about Shah Firdaus kan. The way I see it, Shah Firdaus he's quite a quiet achiever, but he's a good guy also. So tell us about him and how far he has come, John.
All right, Ben. So he's the sort of heartthrob to a lot of the Malaysian women out there. Being a single, good-looking male, he's a pretty good, strong, strapping young fella, and I guess I can't blame the girls for having a bit of a heartthrob. With him, he's quite a shy person, and he took a lot to get to know in the first place. It took me quite some time to for him to break him down, for him to let me in, and then like any new athlete, I've got to gain their respect, and he's got to gain my respect, and that's how it works every single time we get a new athlete in the group. So our policy is we don't demand respect. Each and every one of us have to earn it. and then once you sort of create that respect for each other, then the sky's the limit, because we've got a phenomenal group, and so we move forward from there. To talk a little bit more about Shah, he's a slow maturer, and he's just starting to mature mentally into a world-class cyclist. I'm really proud of where he's at physically and mentally at the moment. He's been through a really tough time, being sort of stuck in Melbourne through the lockdowns, and when we got back from the World Championships in 2020 in Germany, he was in our team house in Parkville, which is in the back of the zoo in Melbourne, if anyone knows Melbourne. And he's in this big house on his own, had to fend for himself, and he's the type of person that needs people around him, and he sort of relied on other teammates to help with the cooking and the cleaning duties, and the all the household tasks that we all get burdened with. And I think the pluses of the pandemic have, for him being locked down, I saw a young boy grow into a man, and because he had to. And the good thing about Shah is physically he's a big strapping boy. He'll be able to mix it with the big Europeans. He carries a lot more muscle mass than what Azizul does. So he's got a lot more power and a lot more raw horsepower. So it's just a matter of just be patient, and you'll see him really start to come into his own as he starts to believe in himself a little bit more over the next couple of years, because he's phenomenal. What he can do, it's special, but he doesn't always have a strong belief in his own ability, and when he does, he's unbelievably good, and that's where you see a little bit of inconsistency at the moment. But we're working hard on that, and he's certainly working hard on that. And once we get better at that, you'll see a really good, consistent, robust elite athlete. So hopefully that tells you a little bit about him. Personality, he's got quite a quirky personality. He likes a joke. He's a bit of a practical joker, like Azizul. So you always got to be, have your wits about you, because you never know what's around the corner. And that's always good. We always try to bring a little bit of fun to the workplace, and our philosophy is if it's fun to come to work, you sort of enjoy being there, and you get a little bit more productivity out. So we have a lot of fun together. At the same time, we work incredibly hard, and we sort of we ride them hard, and I try to extract every drop of blood and fluid that I could get out of them at every training session.
Quite a mama's boy, huh?
Yeah, he is. He is. But you'll make someone a good husband. So for you women out there, he's single. So I'll take good care of him for you. So.
No, you just want to translate what John just said about Shafri House, and then I'll move on to ask a question about Azizul, Jojo, Awang. So just want to summarize what John said about Shah.
Sorry, Ben, I missed you a little bit then, so if you can just repeat that question.
I was just talking to Hana because Hana did a great job just not translating what you said your first answer in BM. So Hana, do you just want to translate a little bit what John said about Shafri House?
Ben, I think your mic is not your mic's not really clear at the moment.
Okay.
All right. Never mind. Because
so
someone.
Oh, that's it.
All right.
Got you, Ben.
Okay. Yes. Okay. We can hear you now, Ben.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Do you want to repeat that question?
Back to the question you were saying. Yeah. Can you repeat the question now?
I just wanted Hana to just summarize what John said about Shah Firdaus, and then I'll lead on to a question about Azizul. Ya, boleh tak?
Okey, sebenarnya daripada apa yang John bagi tahu kepada kita tentang karakter Shah Firdaus ni, walaupun kita lihat dia lambat untuk matang, tetapi sejak daripada game Olimpik tempoh hari, kematangan beliau tu telah kita nampak begitu banyak perubahannya dan begitu banyak progres yang dapat kita lihat. Dan ketika ini, seperti yang anda semua tahu, Shah Firdaus sekarang ini sedang masih lagi berada di Melbourne, sedang dalam tempoh rawatan dan untuk menyembuhkan beliau daripada kecederaan yang beliau alami ketika ini. Dan sedikit karakter menarik mengenai Shah Firdaus ni, Shah Firdaus ni dia perlukan support kawan-kawan tau. Jenis manja sikit lah, tapi kita faham lah kalau karakter anak mak ni dia sedikit manja, perlukan orang untuk menjaga dan memberi semangat kepada beliau. Tapi insya-Allah dalam mungkin beberapa tempoh lagi beliau akan terbiasa dengan dengan sukan dan juga dengan sukan tersebut, dan kita akan lihat kematangan Shah Firdaus lepas ini akan lebih progresif lagi lah selepas ini, insyaAllah. Tapi
InsyaAllah.
sekarang ini yang menariknya mungkin untuk wanita-wanita sana yang mungkin meminati Shah Firdaus ketika ini, beliau masih lagi single, ya.
Bujang. He's a bujang-bujang man.
Bujang.
Okay, but let's not talk about the bujang-bujang man. Let's talk about the Pocket Rocket man. Azizulhasni Awang, aka Jojo. John, tell us about what we don't see about Azizul. What the public sees is a great athlete considering how short he is. A really big heart, a very good PR, very polite with the fans, very respectful, very responsive. But tell us about the things that we don't know and we don't see about Azizulhasni Awang.
Yeah, look, he's a special individual. He's sort of the perfect person. He's all of the things you said, but he's got a fierce, burning desire to want to achieve, and he sort of gets to the start line and he believes that in his own ability that he can win the race, no matter who he comes up against, and he's just got a mentality that is second to none. He's so professional with everything that he does. He tends to overdo things sometimes. I've always got to hold him back. He's one of those athletes that loves what he does, just loves riding the bike, and that's when he's at his most happiest is when he's out on his bike. And so he's a consummate professional. He's the best ambassador that Malaysia could ever have. Everyone worldwide knows him, and they're always happy to rub shoulders, and because they know that he's such a gentle person. He's always got a kind conversation for anybody. So, but yeah, he's just got a fierce, burning determination and will to achieve like I haven't seen in anyone else that I've ever coached. And you can't coach those things. Like they're inherently sort of intrinsic. So you're born with that. So he's so special because he's been born with that special trait where he actions those. He dreamt really big as a young guy. He wanted to go to Olympic Games, and he hasn't let anything stand in his way. He's colourblind, he's flat-footed, he's short. When I first coached him, he was 61 kilograms. I posted a picture on Instagram today of Azizul at 61 kilograms racing Gregory Bourget from France. Who's close to 100 kilograms. So, and you look at him and you just go, I got this guy covered. But he's just so special. His power to weight is unbelievable, and we've worked on his drag, and he's already got a very low drag coefficient. So, he doesn't put out the massive numbers that Shah Firdaus puts out, but he doesn't have to because he's so much smaller. So, he cuts through the air so much easier. But he's got an unbelievable racecraft. He's uncanny with his skills and his technical, and tactical knowledge. So, he would be the best bike racer in the world, bar none. And he has to be because he's small. But you've really got something special, and there's more Azizuls walking around the street. We just have to identify them. But he is one special individual. And if we if we went through a talent identification scheme, he would be an athlete that would fall through the cracks. So he never would have made it into the elite program. So he made it in through winning bike races, and then we just gave him opportunities, and he just kicked the door right in with the opportunities we gave him.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. He is an amazing person, John. Really, really amazing person. And then now I'll get you to summarize in a little bit. We're just a bit wary of time, but I've got one more question to ask before we start the questions that people sent their emails through today. You have a fantastic team, John, and this team is predominantly made in Malaysia. Malaysians supporting Malaysians, and it's usually in a sporting system you would see a lot of expats, a lot of Westerners supporting an athlete like Azizul or a Jason Kenny or whatever. But your team is very much made in Malaysia. Tell us about the success of this made in Malaysia team that's given this Malaysian team that extra push and speed and all the X factors in life on and off the track.
Yeah, I guess it's taken, I've been in Malaysia now for 15 years, coaching the team, and through that time, I've worked with a lot of different staff members, and it took me a while to work out, who were going to be part of the core group. And it wasn't that the other staff members weren't highly skilled. It just, that some of them were incredibly highly skilled, but they just weren't a good fit within our team. So the dynamics are so important at a high performance level, and we've got such a good team, and their knowledge capture is second to none. Like, I'm so proud of them. I really mean it. I'm really proud of how hard our staff have worked and how hard they strive to achieve to help the athletes become the best version of themselves that they can be. And we've got such a special relationship, which only a team can build up over a long period of time, where we can say anything to any single one of them, about, and we know that it's not personal, it's about the performance. You let us down because you said you're going to do something and you haven't done it. Why haven't you done it? And they know that, and it's not a personal attack. So, and that's very special to be in a team environment like that. And they've got a license to check me as well. And and that's why we're a wonderful team, because they keep me honest, and I keep them honest. And we've got I couldn't be more proud. Like, Ism, he's our high performance manager. He started off as our nutritionist, and pretty soon after I saw how bright this young guy was, and I
Smart
thought,
guy, super smart guy. Yeah.
He is, and like, I've just loved seeing him develop into, like, he would be something that would be on high demand in any high performance sport in any country in the world. He's brilliant. So just the way he handles people, how he gets the job done, he's just so special. And then we've got Li Ming, who's the mum to the team. She's our exercise physiologist, and like, I've just seen Li Ming blossom, over the years, and like, I'm a pretty hard taskmaster. We've got really high standards and lofty goals, and we have to keep each other accountable to to our standards. Otherwise, we're not going to reach the high levels of excellence that we want to achieve. So, but we do it in such a great way, and we have a lot of fun doing it. So it's just a great family environment. And look, I love my staff. I couldn't imagine working with anyone else. Like, I said, moving forward, I'll stay in Malaysia as long as Malaysia want me, as long as I can keep that team together. Because that team is what's going to be leading Malaysia long after, like, I'm in an old person's home, someone pushing me around in a wheelchair. So, their knowledge capture with what we've been through the last couple of Olympic cycles, and this one especially, because we really tore the event apart after to Rio to find out how we're going to get from the bronze medal position to the top spot. So we really looked at all the critical elements of like our sport, the event, and then how we were going to find those gains that we needed to find, both in power and in drag reduction and resistance to help the guys sort of get that free speed. So yeah, I'll leave it there. But they're a special group, and I love them dearly, and I can't speak highly enough. And when we talk about performance, everyone gives me a pat on the back, but really I'm just one part of a high performance team, and those guys work incredibly hard, and they don't get the pats on the back and that I get, but they deserve everything that comes their way.
Well, the way we see it, you're like the glue to the family. You're like the glue of the family. You're the Abba. You're the Abba of the team.
So
yeah,
now
I love it.
Sorry, go ahead, John.
Yeah, we are a family, and like Malaysians are a special breed, and I think I love the Malaysian people. I love the culture. I love the food. I love everything about it, and there will be a time soon where we'll relocate the program back to KL, and I don't want to say when that is, but it'll be in the near future, not in the far future. So I'll relocate Vicky over here, and then we can grow and expand the sport out even further. And like the future of having a successful program is knowledge capture with the coaches, and we've got I'm lucky that I've got such a good group of young coaches that were athletes under my program, and now they're blossoming into really, really good world-class coaches. So we're in a good space. So yeah, look, there's a lot to come, and the sport's only just chipped away the surface of the iceberg. We've got so much more to come yet.
Nice indeed. Now you want to summarize that in Malay?
Well, there's just so many things that John said, that
Sikit-sikit
I'm
lah.
still trying to digest. Tapi daripada apa yang kita lihat, kita dapat menyaksikan sendiri bahawa tim Malaysia kita ni bukan satu tim dinamik yang sangat-sangat baik, seperti sebuah keluarga, dan daripada staff sampailah ke atlet, dan kita juga ada pengurus yang sangat-sangat baik, bermula daripada seorang nutritionist dan sehingga menjadi seorang pengurus kepada pasukan. Dan kali ini saya apa yang John dapat sampaikan kepada kita semua, bahawa mereka sekarang ni sedang bersiap sedia untuk mengkondol pingat emas pula selepas ini di Paris pada 2024, insya-Allah emas akan menjadi milik kita, insya-Allah. I'm very confident of that. Dinamik team yang sangat-sangat baik.
No, it's so great to hear that you have a great team, John, made in Malaysia and developing Malaysians. So we've got some comments here from Faisal Hashim. John, you're really great. Zefi Elfia Muhammad Taib, thank you for sticking around. Coach John, you have done such an amazing job with the Malaysian team. So the whole country is behind you, John. Alhamdulillah, as we say here in Malaysia. But now, do you want to go to your questions that were dropped in by some people today?
Yes, speaking of questions, I've actually asked some of my followers on my Instagram if they have any questions to ask to John. And my Instagram have been flooded with questions to ask to John. Okay, one of them from Latif8013. How do you know the Pocket Rocket is the one and only champ? Just brief.
Well, I didn't really like it. Yeah, it's a good question, and I'll keep it brief. My job, I saw a young fellow when I first started coaching. He was in the junior ranks, and I saw him win, I think it was 3 gold medals and 1 silver out of 4 events. And in the silver, in the one he got silver, he had a puncher. So like an incredible performance from this young, sort of really small guy. And then I thought, geez, what can we do with this guy? I don't know, but I owe it to him to give him an opportunity to see how far it could go. And then, the rest he did. I provided the avenue and the opportunity, and he's done all the rest.
Okay.
Go ahead, John. Go ahead. Continue.
Yep.
Yeah. So he's basically done everything else. So yeah, my job was just to make sure, same as every athlete, that I give them the platform and opportunity for them to become the best that they can become, and we support them the best way that we know possible, and then they've got to make the most of the opportunity, and the difference between the ones that make it and the ones that don't, the people that are prepared to make those sacrifices, and that's really what it comes down to, because they're all very talented.
Cool.
Okay. Next question. Can I ask next question from my followers?
No. I want Hana to ask the next 3 questions from your followers, because I've got one of my actually 2 followers of mine ask questions for John. So now, ladies first.
All right. Thank you, Ben. Okay. 2 questions from my followers. One from Muhammad Azriq. What's your favorite Malaysian food, John? And also, why do you choose Malaysia?
Okay, my favourite Malaysian food, I reckon it should be your number one delicacy all around the world, is the satay, Malaysian satay. I can't get enough of it. So, I love it. So
Beef satay or
I could have
chicken
that
satay?
satay sauce. Yeah, any satay. So I don't care if it's beef, chicken. It's all good to me. And just to have the sauce on rice is good. I love the sauce on pasta or anything. I love all the spices and the taste, and some of the sauce can be very sort of spicy, but I've learnt to enjoy the spices of Malaysia, and the back part of the question, Hannah, was the
Why
second
do you
part.
choose Malaysia?
Yeah, why Malaysia, John?
Okay.
Why the best country in the world?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I didn't even know where Malaysia was on the map when I first was called up. It was funny because I was in a situation in Australia where I was in the system, but I wasn't in the system, and I was probably a square peg trying to fit into a round hole, and I just couldn't fit into the system. And I'd coached a lot of phenomenal athletes, and to Olympic medals and world championships, and I was at the stage where I stepped away from the sport, and I went back to the family business, and just because of the politics, and I wasn't happy with the Australian system, and what it was doing to me mentally more than anything, and then I was contacted by a Malaysian athlete, Josiah Awang, who was in need of a coach, and at that time, I didn't know Josiah, I hadn't heard of him, and so my wife Vicky Googled him and did a lot of research and said, well, this guy's pretty good, and I said, well, I just don't know. I haven't worked with any Asians before. I don't know about cultural things and a whole lot of stuff. And Vicky goes, well, if you don't have a go, you'll never know. So you can all thank my wife. And I've been one that.
Thank you, wife.
Thank you, Vicky.
Once I make a decision, I never look back. So, the hardest part for me is to make a decision. And once I've made that decision, it's always the right decision because I've made it, and I make it the right one. So, it's taken me on an unbelievable journey that I'll never forget. Malaysia's been so good to me, and I hope that in some way I've been able to deliver some small things back to Malaysia. So, I owe Malaysia a lot. Cycling, coaching is certainly, it's my passion, it's my love, and to be able to do that as a job and spring out of bed every day and have a smile on your face is just something special, and I never take it for granted. So that's how it started. So, I'm waffling on now, but yeah, my wife, you can thank her, and then the rest is once I started, and it just grew and grew and grew. So, and it's just been a great journey.
Nice. Now, what else you got in store for us?
Last but not least, questions coming from, what's this guy's name? Shardini. What does John think about Team GB Lotus? Yeah.
Okay. Okay, it's a good question because Team GB have been at the forefront of research and innovation. Like they're right at the forefront, and they're still probably the leaders. At the moment. The Lotus bike is it's a beautiful piece of equipment. It's very different. So you look at it. Some people would look at it and go, oh, it's ugly and whatever. But I look at it and I see a piece of beauty, and it's different. And they've put a lot of time, effort, and research into developing that bike to give obviously their athletes a small advantage. So I like the Lotus. I think it's a nice bike, and it is very different, but I think it's quite beautiful.
Beautiful, cantik sangat. Okay, my turn. Now, is that all from you? For now?
There are some questions, but I think I'll just pass the baton to you, Ben.
Yeah, kasih chance lah.
Kasih chance lah.
Okay, all right. This lady, great question. I think she was the first person to ask it on the Great People TV Facebook page. Please like and follow the Facebook page, by the way. Suhada Amalina, John, what are the special traits or criterion that you are looking for in an athlete to be in your team? So like, can you tell us about that? What's your short list?
Yeah, I guess it's just a commitment to excellence and a commitment to being the best version of themselves that they can be, and that takes a lot of dedication, a lot of sacrifice, and determination. And for me, people talk about motivation. I've never had to motivate my athletes, and I'm not a great motivator because motivation is just so shortly lived. So you've got to live by good processes, day in, day out, 365 days a year, if you want to be a good athlete. And if you're prepared to do that, we welcome you in the group, and you're going to go places, because you can't help but go places. And that's, that's the difference between people dreaming big and the people that actually action those dreams, that they've dreamt. So you've got to have that self-burning desire to want to achieve in no matter what it is in life, whether it's sport, whether it's business, whether it's relationship, and be prepared to work hard at it, and make those sacrifices to make things better, and that's what you want.
Kita perlu ada keazaman yang begitu membara untuk mencapai sesuatu yang kita hendakkan. Okay, Ben, ada satu lagi soalan coming from Amirul. John, when we look at cyclists, right, does one's outright build and physiques gives that much advantage over another? Because Asians are generally smaller. How is it fair competition then, and what are the ways we can compensate or train for competitions knowing we are at a disadvantage? This is coming from Amirul. Sebab kata Amirul, Asia ni orangnya kecil.
Question.
Macam mana kita nak menang?
Sorry, time out, John. Just Hannah saying something? Yep.
Sorry, I was translating Amirul's question. Amirul said, orang Asia ni kebanyakannya kecil-kecil belaka. Macam mana kita nak menang kalau kita nak bertanding? Apa bentuk train yang boleh kita buat? Okay. John, over to you.
Sorry about that, John.
Yeah, so... No. Yeah, look, it's a really good question, and if you look at a small athlete to a big athlete, they have less drag. So that's number one. So you look at the big physical athletes; they put out big powers, but they've got a lot of drag. So we look at an athlete, and we look at a lot of things. What can we do to make that athlete better? How can we produce more force? How can we reduce the drag, and then look at reducing friction and so on. So we look at the holistic approach, and if you look at for me, talking about drag, it's probably as alien as it is to like anybody. But if you're driving a car at 70 k's an hour, 80 k's an hour, stick your hand out the window and feel your arm being pushed back. Well, that's what a cyclist, has to overcome in order to go fast. So we look at all the areas of how we can reduce that drag, and then look at upping, their power, and that's through normally putting more lean muscle mass on, and so with the more muscle, the more force. It just takes time, but we're never going to be big. We're never going to be able to, compete with the giants on an even playing field. But we pride ourselves on being smart, powerful, really good decision makers, and tactically, very astute. So and if we tick all those boxes, we can be super competitive against anyone in the world. They might have a lot more force than us, but we're smarter. We know how to use it better. We use the track really well. Lots of those big athletes don't ever learn that craft because they're just already naturally big and strong. So
Okey, John kata sebenarnya antara cara yang boleh kita improve dari aspek ini banyak kepada membelajar teknik serta craft untuk kita lebih mahir dalam gelanggang tersebut. Am I right, Ben?
Yep, you're
Lebih
on point
kepada
lah.
developing the craft,
betul.
macam kita nak hone the craft and hone the
Betul.
skills. Yes,
That's
to
right.
overcome the disadvantages that we have. Okay.
Great. Well, now you're translating extremely well tonight now, and you're putting it on point.
I'm trying my best. Though I'm not used to it, I'm trying my best.
No, we're gonna make a cyclist out of you yet now, aren't we, John?
For sure.
Don't go
Can you
there.
understand? You're understanding my Aussie really well.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, John, I'm just going to go into my questions, and there's a good question here from Muhammad Ikwan, and Ikwan, I'll get to you in the next question because this person has been waiting very patiently. This is Lukman. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my phone here. Lukman Yusuf Hafizi. Now, his question is connected to the story that I have. Now, Azizul shared with a newspaper, John, in the last 10 days, I think, I can't remember which newspaper it was, that over the years when he was at the middle of the pack or the bottom of the pack of the A final, he was trying to find his speed, he was trying to find his size, he was trying to find his everything, and you guys were traveling the world. And then Azizul would say, hey, John, you're not going to eat that on the plane. And he said, no, you said, no, I'm not hungry. But you were actually lying because you wanted him to eat more, So, because like Hana was saying, like the person who asked the question just now, size is a huge advantage, not just in cycling, but in high performance sports.
Muscle mass.
Yeah, muscle mass. So when did you ever think, when was that turning point in your head, John, that you ever, and this is Lukman's question, when did you ever think that Dato' Azizulhasni Awang, aka Jojo, would be one of the greatest cyclists, not just in the world, but of this generation?
When I first, really when he won his first UCI World Cup in Melbourne, and it was back in, I can't remember, it was 2007 or 2008 now, but I really saw those phenomenal special qualities that this young fella had, and then it was just a matter of we needed to work on different stuff, and he was so willing to make changes and sacrifices in his life. So the first thing that we went about was, okay, we had to clean his diet up. So we said, mate, we've got to really look at the calories that you're eating. You put dirty fuel into a car and it doesn't run really well. So we need to start to put some high performance fuel into the car. So it really started from there, and then we took this young fella from 61 kilograms, and I think we raced him. I can't remember what his weight was in London, but in Rio we got him to 69 kilograms, and then in Tokyo we had him at touching 75 kilograms of lean muscle mass, and it really took that whole journey to get that size on him, and a lot of dedication on his part. So we knew that in order to have a chance of winning Malaysia their first gold medal, that we needed to, we lacked power, so we had to find identify ways to to produce more force, and the only way we could do that was to embark on a massive, sort of pathway of building quality lean muscle mass and then making that mass functional. And it was hard. And he there's the body image as well. Like Malaysian athletes are pretty vain. They if I had mirrors in the gym, I wouldn't be able to get them to do much work. Believe me. They love looking at their abs and they like what they see. They work incredibly hard, and so they should. But in order to build the mass, I had to put a few extra kilos on them. So I had to carry around extra fat mass so that when they did go deep into training sessions, they weren't eating muscle. They were eating the fat stores that we had there. So, and then we leaned them up coming into the games. So we had to overcome a lot of factors. So, and the athletes weren't always comfortable and happy with it, but they understood the process and they stuck to those processes and lucky that we could deliver on what we said would happen. And if they, stuck to what they could deliver and stick to their good processes it all sort of come together pretty well in Tokyo. He had a really good athlete for London, but he had that bad crash 12 months prior, and he got the splinter through his leg, and he made the Olympic final, but we were underdone. And then in Rio, we had the best physical Azizul, in his life at that stage, but he was still only 69 kilograms, and we had all these big nations that rolled out all this super high-tech technology. So we're really beaten on technology in Rio. And then in Tokyo, we sort of wanted to make sure that we got to the start line and we made sure that our athletes weren't disadvantaged in any way, shape or form. And I'm pretty happy that we could say that our team did an exceptional job. We ticked all those boxes and got the athletes on the start line in their best physical condition, and certainly the technology was second to none. So we're on an even playing field with Great Britain for a change.
Nice. And then sorry, now I'm just going to ask this last question before I hand it back to you. John, Muhammad Ikhwan is asking a very good question. I have a very strong personal opinion about this question because I worked with you a little bit when I was at the podium program about this topic, but I'm going to let you do all the answering because I'm not the subject matter expert. What kind of psychology training do you apply for Malaysian cyclists in particular? Because every culture is different. How Jason Kenny does it, how Laura Trott does it, how Vicky so-and-so does it, in the UK or in Holland or wherever is different. Psychology is very cultural. So what kind of sports psychology, cultural aspects do you apply to the Malaysian athletes to get them prepared to win?
Yeah, I guess that's, part of my role. I would love to work with a psychologist that could fit as part of the team and to be able to work with the athletes and build that trust relationship. And we've tried different psychologists over many Olympic cycles, but we haven't been able to have one where the athletes have felt comfortable enough to let them in. And most Malaysians see psychologists. If you need a psychologist, you're weak, and we all know that's the most furthest from the truth. But it's just how they perceive things. So we just the staff take up that role currently, and we just guide them through. We make sure that we lead them through, and they stick to their processes and stop thinking about outcome, because most Malaysians are outcome focused and outcome driven.
Yeah, very true.
So we've had to really train the mindset of each of our high performance athletes into let that go. Stick to your processes, and if you've got good processes, your outcomes are going to take care of themselves. So that's what we do, and and that's how we go about it. So it's a long-winded answer to a short question, but I would love to have a psychologist on the team that could really gel, but it takes a long time for athletes to build that trust in that relationship, that they're really going to open up and be able to receive the help from the psychologist. So that's the challenge that we've got. And they've probably got to start with the younger generation and then work with them all the way up through the ranks. I think So that's it's sort of left up to us currently. So
well, don't worry, John. Sorry, go ahead.
Wow. Ben, John, I learned something new about sport psychology today. I didn't know that it has a lot to do with cultural and also the mentality of a certain community in different parts of the world. Okay, kepada anda yang sedang mendengarkannya, sebenarnya sport psychology ni dia lebih tertumpu kepada bagaimana cara hidup serta budaya sebuah masyarakat itu, dan menariknya setakat ini tim mereka belum ada lagi psikologi yang mungkin sesuai, yang mungkin atlet kita ini selesa untuk lebih terbuka dengan psikologi ini. Walau bagaimanapun penempuan perlu diberikan lebih kepada proses berbandingkan dengan result, berbandingkan dengan outcome. Sebab apa? Kalau ikutkan budaya kita ni, kita jenis yang nak tunjuk fokus pada result aja. Tapi apa yang John katakan, penting untuk kita fokus pada proses dan anda akan dapatkan result yang lebih baik selepas itu. Thank you so much, John. I learned something new today.
There you go, John. Always educating people. But John, I know someone later on when we have that long-awaited coffee. I know someone who's very good at this side of things. Bit of a demon, but we'll get to that a bit later. So yes,
who is this guy?
A small joke that John and I have over the years. Okay, it's a Western Bulldogs Melbourne Demons thing.
Right.
So if you get the pun, but no, you've got more. We've got about 10 more minutes with John. Sorry, we've had such a fantastic interview. I know we only said about 50 minutes, but if it's okay with you, just a few more minutes, and I'm just going to let Hana wrap it up with some last questions before we call it a night, and let John get back to his makan or some paperwork or some rest.
Okay, John, perhaps you have a message that you like to give out to all our followers who are watching us today, tonight, and also some Merdeka message to all of them, and waiting for Paris 2024.
Yeah, I guess for me, like I'd sort of like to make it more general than just sport, because I believe Malaysians have got special talents and they lack confidence in themselves. And I see these beautiful people that they're as smart as anyone that any race in the world. They just assume that people are better than what they are, and I just believe in yourself, and don't be frightened to put yourself out there and have a go, because you're never going to know what you can do or what you can achieve unless you put yourself out there. And it is difficult and it's hard, and you're going to make a lot of mistakes on your journey, but that's how we all learn. And the smart ones can make a million mistakes once, but the silly ones, they make the same mistake many times over. So you've got to not be frightened to dream big, but more importantly, action. Make sure you action those dreams, and through good processes. And if you do that, the world's your limit. So it really is. You guys are special, and you can do anything that you set your mind to.
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you, John. Dengar tu rakyat Malaysia, kita ni kurang percaya diri, kena yakin sikit diri tu, barulah boleh achieve apa yang kita nak.
Okay. Sorry, now I just gotta interrupt. There's a reporter asking a question, and a good question. I wanted to ask it earlier, but we got carried away with satays and kacang sauce. So, John, one reporter is asking, what is if you could take two learning curves out of the Tokyo 2020 quadrennium of the last 4 years or the 5 years, what two things would you do different in the lead up to Paris 2024?
Well, that's a really good question. There's not a lot we would do different, because I think we nailed the performance wonderfully well, collectively as a team in this Olympic cycle. Our knowledge capture in this Olympic cycle has come tenfold. Like in this Olympic cycle, we've learned more as a group than probably in all my years of coaching prior to that. So and that's because we put ourselves out there and we challenged ourselves. Because obviously, unless we strive to be the best version of ourselves, we can't expect the athletes to do that either. So it's more of the same, really. It's just a matter of getting down to when we debrief and we work through those things of what worked, what didn't, what we're going to keep, what we're going to not continue to do, and then work through putting all the pieces of the jigsaw together so we can produce that beautiful picture in Paris. And it really just comes down to more hard work. We certainly we strive for excellence, and we go to every major competition to win. We can't win at every major competition. We understand that, but we still go into every competition trying to win. And but our major goal is the big targets, and they're every 4 years. And it's just a matter of doing the best we can with what we got, and just continually to be the smartest we can be.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. John, we have questions coming from Rosli Saleh. Hi, Coach. During this pandemic, it's quite a problem for local coach to scout for new athletes. What sort of program that that the local coach can do, to get Pocket Rocket Man? To get someone like Pocket Rocket Man.
Pocket Rocket Men.
Yeah.
Or women. Pocket Rocket women.
He does a fantastic job, Rossley up there, and he's been to Tasmania, so he knows a little bit of the landscape of Melbourne, and he does a phenomenal job, and it is difficult in the rural parts, and I'm working incredibly hard to try and roll out infrastructure around the country. That's what's been sadly lacking to really make cycling a truly national sport, and the government's doing a good job now at trying to do that, but we just need basic venues, and we're not talking about indoor ones like we've got at Nilai and Johor. We want really basic venues that would cost. We could build them for about $1 million ringgit, and if we can get one of those in each state, then people like Rossley can really do a great job with with his coaching. It's hard for him. He's got to get athletes on track bikes and do efforts out the road. You've got to look out for cars. You've got to look out for livestock and a whole lot of things. So
a lot of risks.
It's very difficult. So if we can build these basic facilities in these rural areas, and then the community can also get off the road and use it as an area to keep fit, and pick up their general health. So, but look, Rossley does a fantastic job. So just keep up the good work, and it is hard to capture. I really can't. We're going to try, and one of the things we're focusing on in this next cycle is we spent a lot of money going outside of the country chasing racing experience, and I thought about it quite a lot, and I spoke quite deeply and in depth with Azizul, and we thought that the best way that we can help Malaysia move forward is to make Malaysia the centre of excellence in Asia, and have people from Australia and from all over to base themselves here. And
fantastic idea.
So we need to have regular racing. So that's what we're going to work hard, and if we've got regular racing, then Rossley will start to have people travel from his state, to race in his competitions, and he can spot the talents and continue to nurture and develop.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Encik Rosli, keep up doing the good work that you do. Okay.
Yes, good job, Encik Rosli. So look, John, we've come to the end of our show. Now you've done a great job tonight. This is my first time working on a show, and now you've translated.
I think we're doing great.
No, Alhamdulillah, we had a good start, had a good win, and we have a good guest. A very accommodating guest. Not many guests would come out the night before and test with you.
Agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, so thank you, John, for being such a good bloke, in the words of a good Australian. But John, one final request. I noticed this on Instagram from your squad. Not just from the Shah and Azizul, but the Anis and the other squad members. During their time in Melbourne, they've always tried to ask you to speak Malay. So can you tell our audience tonight in your best Malay, and you cannot use the word makan, okay? Because that's a given.
Yeah.
He's already making that face.
we're not even going to go there, because I can tell you all the dirty words. But I can understand a lot of Bahasa if you talk really slow. So yeah, it's just a matter of you guys talk so much slang and you talk very fast, and it's really hard for me because I try and learn Bahasa, how they teach you, and it's just totally different how you speak it. So I guess once I immerse myself in Malaysia, I'll pick it up pretty quickly. So yeah, rest assured, I'm not going to insult the Malaysian public on my
Come on,
really
John.
poor level of Bahasa. No, but I've got one thing to leave Malaysia on. So
Come on, John,
I
be a
really,
sport.
yeah,
Just one word.
yeah. So Western Bulldogs, get on the Western Bulldogs. Aussie rules football. I want every Malaysian to support the Western Bulldogs. So I've got all the elite cycling team. It's written in their contract, and we would love to have more Malaysians support my wonderful Western Bulldogs, and we'll see if we can get them over to play some practice matches over here. So. But yeah, so I've really enjoyed my time with you two. It's been thoroughly enjoyable, and I thank you greatly, and the Malaysian public for putting up with me. And thank you.
No,
Right.
John,
Also,
don't go.
John, coming from our followers, Hazika Irdina Shahidin, she wants you to keep on updating your Instagram account.
I'm 59 years old. I started like Instagram when I was locked in quarantine, and it kept me a little bit sane because I thought, geez, what am I going to post tomorrow? I'm old school, guys. It's hard for me, but I'll do my best, and I'll try not to flood things. But I'll try and put stuff out there that may be of interest of most of the public.
No, John.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John, so much. Now, look, I'm going to say the last word, so why don't you say something really, really sweet and nice, and I'll say something sweet and nice to wrap up the show. But John, thank you so much. But John, after the show, please stay on the line. I just want to say an extra thank you after that. So, Hana, over to you.
Right. Thank you, John. Thank you, Ben. And thank you, everyone, for joining our show in Great People TV. Semoga sesi kita pada hari ini memberikan inspirasi kepada anda untuk terus yakin dan percaya diri anda. InsyaAllah, Malaysia sentiasa boleh.
Alhamdulillah, in Malaysia boleh. Thank you very much. Now, I just want to say, everyone, thank you for watching our show. Thank you for the comments. There was one lady called Miss Noonan who dropped a comment here today about watching the show. Thanks for being with us. I think she's from Australia as well. So don't forget, everyone, Great People TV, it's about giving you the best content, BEST, the best content from business, entertainment, sports, technology, and other areas as well. The first episode was Dato Sri Najib Tun Razak, the 6th Prime Minister of Malaysia, and then we had Siti Salihah, we've got John Beasley tonight, and we've got more guests coming our way in the near future. So keep pressing subscribe, please keep pressing like, keep pressing follow, and all of the above.
And share.
And share, and you're a fantastic audience. Follow us on Instagram, and follow John on Instagram. He's got 11,000 followers. Do you believe that? All right.
Yep,
I mean, pretty good for a 59-year-old dude from Futascrai. So good job, John. And yes, can we see John? See John? All right, big fella. I'll catch up with you in safer times. We'll have that coffee. The Demons are the best. They're going to win the premiership, God willing, inshallah. And hopefully they'll beat your Western Bulldogs along the way.
Who is this guy?
Oh, no, mate.
All right, good night, everyone.
Night. Take care, everyone. See you next time.
Assalamualaikum. Bye.
Assalamualaikum. Okay, can we talk to John? Or we can't talk to John?